Right, we've now just about got joinery finished. I've just nipped in today to do a couple of little bits. The bits that we've got left to do so far are the frames that I'm going to put in around the skylights that we can then attach some kind of blind or insulating panel to. You'll have to excuse me, I've been full of cold for the last week, which has slowed the job down no end. So we've cut the foam, which we're now going to get upholstered. I want this upholstery in some kind of fabric that's got removable covers, obviously something hard wearing, and I'm not sure yet whether to go with washable or just more of a hard wearing kind of fabric. Let me talk you through anything of note on the conversion itself. So really the main change from the layout, or not even so much the layout, the main change from the last camper is the way that the bed folds down. Last time it worked, but it felt like it was a little bit clunky. If something moved ever so slightly out of line, then you'd have to go round the back, and yeah, a little bit of a pain in the bum, and I imagine it especially would be if it was raining or something. So this time around we've done something very slightly different, and that is quite straightforward really. So the actual mechanism of the bed pulling out remains the same. We have a piece in the back, the seat. You have this back seat which has a drawer which will pull out, and that will have all your cooking equipment in. But then the actual front panel of the seat box slides forward on some rails, slides across, and that is what brings the bed forward to make what is essentially the middle section of the bed. Now, how I've improved it from last time is, so let me show you. You pull it out, slides forward nice and easily. Now last time, the panels that the mattress sits on were all joined together, but they were separate of the box. Whereas this time round, I've attached one panel to the centre section of the box, the front piece that pulls out, and then hinged the front panel of the bed. So that hinges, that pulls over like this. Now what I've done differently is created this bit here which folds up and creates like a back for the seat, but that is also exactly the right depth, so that it drops down into the footwell here at the front. So when this folds forward and the seat drops down, that rests on the floor and is nice and solid, and that's as simple as it is. And then to fold it back up, just hinge that over, push that back in and fold the back up. There you go. Other changes, I've taken all the tops away, and what's going to be the doors, they're going to get painted. I've had to do the doors slightly differently. Last time around there was no doors on the front here, as I used a couple of upcycled units at this end. This time round, my plan was, as I normally do, to put some kind of surface mounted doors on kitchen hinges on here. Unfortunately, I've overlooked allowing for the depth of the door, which by the time I'd made all this arrangement and got it working just sweet, changing all that again and knocking everything down by 18mm to allow for the door would have been a bit of a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do instead, what I've done instead, is made some doors that fit internally to solve that problem. So yes, this is a different unit, as last time we had two little upcycled units here, and so because I was able to build this myself, you've got full depth all the way down, whereas the last one had some legs which was a little bit of a wasted void. Also, I've been able to put a door on this side which is accessible from the other side of that sliding door, so that's quite handy. Now when the tops go on here, I've built a little unit that's going to go here. which you've heard me talking about. I've had to allow enough space to allow this to still open, which means it's quite a shallow unit, but it will be handy for tea, coffee, sugar, some cups and everything, and also it'll give me something to bring the cables for the solar panel, the solar charge controller, the 12-volt panel and all that lot through. Yeah, not really much differences. This piece here done exactly the same as last time, just a little lift up lid and some storage in here. There's not a massive amount of storage, but I guess you'd get a sleeping bag and a couple of pairs of shoes in there or something. Obviously you've got the storage here, which it remains to be seen really how useful that is. It does render this seat kind of unusable, obviously, because of this hit in the way, which is a pain. So it all really depends on whether people will find that storage is useful enough to make that worthwhile. Otherwise, to use the seat, you can just pull this seat forward into like the middle position. See, feel that stop, and then in the middle section here, because we've got no storage thing and we've got the high bit with the sunroof, there is enough space to sit. So on a rainy day you could sit here. So yeah, currently just playing around with a few ideas, how the foam's going to work and everything else. But now it's time to get the doors and the worktops painted, as I'm going to paint them this time round rather than stain them. And then the next job will be to put the wiring in, put the solar panel on, put the 12-volt panel in, fix all this lot down, put the leisure battery in and the split charger. I'm going to put an electric hookup point on this one as well. What else? We've still got to source a little handle, boot handle for this piece here, that's missing. Put that on. But yeah, it should be finished in a couple more days, provided I can manage to work for more than a couple of hours without this cough killing me. So that's this one, nearly done. So I'll take you back to my home workshop now, where I will cut all these window trims. I've made a couple of templates, get them sprayed up, and I'll come back tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I think Sunday, give myself a day to rest. And get all that fitted, and then next week it's going to be quickly blasting all the wiring, like I say, and take her for a spin and give her a test. Really, I'm quite keen once everything's done. Oh yes, I need to measure up for the curtains. Actually, I'm going to measure up for the curtains now. Yeah, and be quite interested then to take it for a spin and see whether all this insulation is really worth it, because it really did take a lot of effort. That phase took longer, way longer than doing all the joinery. So yeah, let's get on with some more stuff. Okay, so there we go. That's all the joinery elements done now. I'm going to pass them on to my partner. She will spray the bits that need to be sprayed, and that's a wrap for this episode. We'll just have one more episode now, and in that next episode we will put all the facilities in, the water, the solar, the split charge system, the electric hookup system, all 12 volt lighting and everything. I want to put some nice lighting in all those little storage compartments. And then we'll get everything assembled and put back together, and we'll do like a big unveiling of the finished product. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss that one. And also, we've got 2 more micro campers now in the pipeline. We're picking one up this evening. That's a van, so that's going to be a cool one to do. And the other is a much newer Citroen Berlingo, the newer shape. It's an disability one, so it's got a low floor with storage in, which will be really cool. And we're going to kit that one out to have a excuse me, a double bed in it. And that one's a cracker because it's only got 55,000 miles as well, so that's a really good one. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of appeal that one gets. Okay, that's it for today, folks. Happy camping.